Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. Welcome guys if you are new. Um, if you are oh if you are returning, welcome back. So um so you seen the title of this video, how I purchased a home with my Section 8 voucher. So I'm going to explain to you how I purchased a home with my Section 8 vouchers. Now, just a disclaimer, this is only in my state, and I don't know about any other state. I'm just speaking on in what's happening in my state, okay? So, but before we do that, like I said, thank you guys so much for tuning back in. If you are new here, welcome. So, the last video that that I posted was with me kind of um, revamped my room a little bit, kind of sprucing up my room a little bit, right? My bedroom. And I think I explained to you guys that I had a whole lot of footage that I couldn't get. So what I did, my phone has said low storage. So I had deleted a lot of stuff and I accidentally deleted the videos, right? But when I deleted the videos, I put it in the trash, in the camera trash, but I was able to get it out the trash, but it was saved to um, my Google Photos and not the actual camera roll. So I have been trying since, I think yesterday or the day before was the last time I tried to get it, but I'm like, just forget it. I'm just done trying to figure out how to get it back. I couldn't even from my Google Photos. I can't even just like send it to the editor. I couldn't even do that. So, um, like I said, I think I told you at the last video. So that's the only one that you're gonna get for that, because I can't get it to go over, and it's probably like good 3-4 hours worth of footage that I probably could have made about 4 videos, maybe probably 4 or 5 videos. Depends on how far down I had edited. But anyway, so I just finished doing my hair. That's why I got this bonnet on. I'm not going to say I'm sorry because it's 8 o'clock at night and I'm going to be going to bed after this. So this is real life. But anyway, so let's get back to the real reason that you showed up. So I'm going to tell you how I purchased my home with my Section 8 vouchers. And again, this is for my state, my city. I don't even know if they have it in the other cities in my state, but here they do. And another disclaimer, I've been in my home for 20 years, right? I was one of the first people. I think they took like 50 or 100 people, because it was like a test thing, and I'm one of the first people that actually got into this program. So how I end up in a program, I was at our CETA place one day, and so our CETA, I don't know if you guys have CETA where you are, but here we have CETA, or it's called LAHEAP. ILHEAP, which is it's a program that we have here that pays. They give you so much money for your light bill, gas bill, and water bill, right? Along with budget billing. Okay, so um, so if you have a home, or if your utilities are high, especially the gas bill, if you're paying heat, if you're just paying cooking gas, it shouldn't really be that much. But if you're paying heat, that's where the money comes in. My gas bill may be $300-400 because of the heat, right? And I have like drafty windows, so my heat is usually up kind of high. And then my husband is always cold, so he have the heat on to whatever he have it on. I just have fans and stuff on because I be hot. But anyway, so the cedar, they give you um, so much money, depending on your income and the income of your household, because you have to make so much money for so many people in the household, right? So they give, do they do the application, everything, send it out to the state, because I think it's like a federally, is it federal or state? I think it might be a state program. I'm not sure, but anyway, and I've been applying for CETA for over 30 years, right? So I apply every year for like so almost 30 years, if not 30 years. I don't got been here. Probably about 25, 30 years. Yep. Nope, wait. About 25, 30 years. So anyway, I was in the CETA office, and I was kind of listening to some people's conversation. They were, matter of fact, that's how I also found out about the weatherization. We also have weatherization here. If you're with CETA, um, you can apply for weatherization. I think the weatherization is probably once every 5 years or something like that. So if you noticed around my home, especially in the kitchen, you see these little white circles in the walls. That's where they punch holes in the walls and put in insulation. So with the weatherization, they insulate your home. They used to give you windows. So some of the windows that I have, they gave me windows. Now they didn't do all of them, but they did do half of the windows in my house. So they gave me windows, did insulation. I got a new furnace, new thermostat, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, um, um, fire extinguishers, some like weather stripping things, some light bulbs. They actually give you these little things to put on your faucet, like where the water comes out, not the faucet itself, but the thing under the faucet where the water actually comes out. They have one that's kind of like energy efficient, okay, which it only let out so much water at a time. I don't like that thing. I had to put my other water thing back on there because it didn't come out as fast as I liked it to. But anyway, so every time I can do weatherization, I do weatherization. Like I said, you can only do that like every 4 or 5 or 10 years or something like that. So I just recently had it done about 3 years ago. Now this is the second time I've gotten it since we've been here, but they don't do windows anymore. So I've been here 20 years and I've had 2 new furnaces. And then I was finna apply again to get the hot water heater because we had never gotten a hot water heater. So, but before I was able to do that, I ended up buying a hot water heater because it was leaking, and then we wasn't getting no hot water. And it was, so we just ended up buying one and having it installed. But anyway, so I'm at the CETA office. I'm listening to the people. They're talking about the CETA. They're talking about the weatherization. Like I said, that's how I got the weatherization. And then somebody else was talking about owning that Section 8 had a program that can help you buy a house. But before we get into that, let me go back a little bit. So before I purchased my home, before I even got on Section 8, I was living in the projects. Okay, me and my daughter and my boyfriend, we was living in the projects, right? And so every year, every couple of years, they have where you can go to different places and you can do the application for Section 8. So me and one of my friends, one of my neighbors, we were really good friends. We went down to one of our local libraries and we did the information for Section 8. Now, back then, you didn't have to wait like 5, 10, 15, 20 years to get on Section 8, right? And they were giving it to you like really quick. It was probably like the longest, I think, probably like 6 months. And then at the time you didn't have to work, because by being a federal program, they had money. So if you wasn't working, you didn't have to pay any rent. Or if you were on, like me, public assistance, you only pay like so much rent. So when I was living in the projects, we went down and did the application for Section 8, right? So then a couple of months later, we were getting notices that they were shutting down all of the projects at the whole city, not just in my area, but the whole city. They were knocking down, they were getting rid of the projects, right? Because they had become to be a lot of crime and things like that, gangs and drugs and stuff like that. So they were shutting them down. They were doing them like little by little. And everybody that were living in the projects were getting Section 8 on a first come, first served basis, right? So anybody that filled out an application, so like I had filled out an application before, but the people that were living in the projects were getting it first, okay? So they would start with so many people. They would they will call you down to the office, you do your paperwork, whatever, and then you will get your Section 8 voucher depending on your voucher amount, depending on how many people were in your household. So like if you had, and not only that, it depended on how old your children were. So if you had 3 children that were like, say, under the age of 5, you will probably get a 3-bedroom voucher, which means you can get a 3-bedroom apartment, and the voucher amount may be $1,200. Okay, so which means your rent couldn't be no more than $1,200 off that voucher. So if your rent exceeded the $1,200, you would have to pay the difference. Okay, but me, I only got one child. So I would get a 2-bedroom voucher, and I don't remember how much it was, but the way that it used to work, I don't think it's like that now, but the way that it used to work, if you got a voucher for, say, $2,000, that's going towards your rent, right? If your voucher was $2,000, back then, you can get as many bedrooms as you can, as long as it did not exceed that $2,000. So if you wanted to get a 5-bedroom apartment and the rent was only $1,500, you was able to do that. I don't think you can do it now, though. I'm not sure, but I don't think you can do it now. I think whatever your voucher amount is, that's what you have to get. So like I said, if you had 3 kids and then it was you would get a 3-bedroom voucher, so somebody would have to share bedrooms. So even if you had a boy and a girl and they were, like I say, under 5, you would get still, if you had 2 kids, one was a boy and one was a girl, you'll get a 2-bedroom voucher, because if they're under 5, they were able to share rooms. Now once they got older, I don't know how it worked once they got older, because like I said, I only got one child. So yeah, so I applied for the Section 8 at the library, me and my friend, and then we started getting notices in the mail from housing, the housing authority, saying that they were shutting down the projects. We were the first ones to receive Section 8 vouchers, depending on family size. So like I said, it only took I don't even think it took 6 months to actually get Section 8, if you wasn't in a project. So, but by us being living in a project and they were closing the projects, we were getting our vouchers before anybody who actually applied and who had been waiting on the waiting list for a minute. We were the first ones. I'm just adjusting the camera, y'all. We were the first ones to get the voucher. So after I got my voucher, um, they were the housing authority were going to pay our first month rent, first month security, and last month. You know how you when you move, you got to pay the first, last, and security. That's how they did. They paid it for it, and they moved you, which means they got a moving truck for you, and they moved you into your unit. So once we got the voucher, um, we got our voucher. I forgot when we got it, but I know it was cold outside, and we were actually waiting on them. We had already got the voucher. I had already got the voucher, and um, I found an apartment on the east side of the city that I live in. Right, real nice apartment too. It was a 2 bedroom. It was huge, and so one of the girls from the housing authority, because I didn't drive then, she drove me around to look for places. And did she, if I'm not mistaken, I think she knew somebody who was renting apartments. And I remember her driving me around, and she took me to the apartment over east, beautiful apartment. And I talked to the landlord, and um, the housing authority paid whatever they were going to pay. I got my voucher. They paid what they're going to pay. And so we were actually waiting on for them to, um, what am I trying to say? For them to get us a truck to move us with, right? Because they were paying for all of this. But by the time they end up doing that, it was winter time. And no. How did this happen? I know it was cold outside, and I know it was cold outside because um the pipes had bust in the building, right? And so there was water everywhere and it was freezing. That's how I remember it was cold outside. So my neighbor next door, him and his family end up renting a truck. They just decide, to not wait on them. Like I said, the pipes had burst in the building, and so everything was flooding. It was ice everywhere. So they end up getting a truck, and then they end up letting us put our stuff on the truck. So that's how that happened. So we didn't wait on them. So when they finally came around to move us out, it was probably like February, like January, February. Yeah, like January, February, something like that. It was cold outside. So we end up moving. My neighbor ended up letting us put out the little stuff we had on the truck, and that's how we end up moving out. So um I was at I was no I wasn't I was talking to, sorry guys, my phone had rang. So what I was saying, um yeah, my neighbors had ended up getting a truck, and they let us put our stuff on the truck because the housing authority, they wasn't getting us. It was probably like January, February, and like I said, the pipes had burst, the place was flooded, and there wasn't nothing out there but ice. And so we moved into the place, and I don't remember where I was or who I was talking to. I think I might have been talking to one of the neighbors, and she was telling me about Section 8 having the self-sufficiency program. Was I talking? Was I listening to a conversation? Anyway, the self-sufficiency program was um you basically have to set goals for yourself, okay? Because they wanted, so like just like with public aid, Section 8 is not a all-time thing or a permanent thing. Is just a stepping stone to get you in the right direction, right? So the self-sufficiency program, you had to be, she was telling me about the self-sufficiency program, and that you had to like set goals for yourself. So um and then they gave you so much money. So um I I called Section 8 and I asked them about the program, and so I end up enrolling in that. And so your goals is like to go to school, get a better job, save money, things like that, and they kind of help you. They kind of help you um, reach your goals, right? So that was one of the programs, and I was at CETA, and I overheard a conversation. Like I said, they was talking about the weatherization, so that's how I knew about weatherization, and they were talking about how Section 8 was helping people buy houses, right? So the program is called Choose to Own. That's the name of the program. I think it's still called that till this day. So, and this program was a brand new program, and so I got in contact with Section 8, and I asked them about the program, right? And so what she was telling me, that you had to be in the self-sufficiency program, which I was already in, and you had to be on your job for 2 years. At this time, I was on my job for 4 years. Actually, the same job I'm still at now. It's been 24 years. You had to have a credit score of, I want to say 620 or 640, something like that. You had to complete a class with NHS. NHS is Neighborhood Housing. Um, I mentioned neighborhood housing before. NHS, I've mentioned them before. They're the ones who was going to do my roof and do some work around the house. I've mentioned them in a few videos, actually previous. Um, so you had to be in the self-sufficiency. You had to be on your job for 2 years. You had to have a credit score. I want to say it was 640. I think your credit score had to be 640. You had to complete a class with NHS and get the certificate saying that you completed the class. And the class was home buying classes. So they will probably last like a week or two. They, show you how to get your credit together, how to buy a home, how to keep a home, how to save money, and things like that. So I did that class, and it was, your utility bills could not have been late within 6 months. They had to been paid on time within 6 months. Um, is that it? I want to say that was it. And then the rest of the process was just like if you were buying a home on your own, right? You had to find a realtor. How did I find a realtor? I don't even remember how I found a realtor. I don't know if they assigned me one or I found one. I don't remember. But anyway, you had to have a realtor. Um, and I mean, just like when you see people looking at homes and stuff, you had to go look at the home and all that stuff. You had to do home inspection, but you had to pay for the home inspection out of your pocket. The appraiser you had to pay for out of your pocket. You had to have an appraiser. Oh, I know the other thing was too. Okay, so you had to um, be in the self sufficiency program. Your credit score had to be, I believe it was 640. We're gonna say 640. You had to be on your job for 2 years. You had to complete the NHS thing. You had to uh, have a savings account. That was the other thing. You had to open up a savings account to put money into the savings account for home repairs. That was a must. You had to do that. And then the other stuff I told you that you had to do. So, and you had to prove that you had a savings account and you had to have a checking account. I already had a checking account for my job, which that was no problem. But I did end up opening up a savings account, and I have to put money into that. You had to have put $75. I want to. You had to put $75. I want to say every month or something like that. Excuse me, into the account. And like I said, that was for home repairs. That was a must that you had, and you had to prove that you had the savings account. Now, mind you, y'all, all of this was 20 years ago. Okay. So, like I said, I was one of the first people in this program. So, I'm pretty sure it has changed significantly since then. So, um, if you live in Illinois, uh, check with your Section 8. And, if you're interested in doing that, check with Section 8. Like I'm pretty sure it has changed significantly. So I had to do all of that. Um, till this day, I still have that savings account and I still put money into that savings account. I kind of depleted it when my husband stopped working because I had to have money to pay the bills, right? So I'm trying to get that back up to some kind of something. So after I completed the NHS, the neighborhood housing program, I got a certificate, and I had to take that certificate down to Section 8 because they needed to be sure that I did, what I was supposed to do. I ran my own credit report. I didn't let them run my credit report. I did it myself, and I took my check stubs. I had to make so much money. Like I said, I had to get a realtor. So I don't remember how I found this realtor. I don't remember if I don't even remember. I don't even remember how I found a realtor. But so anyway, she looked up homes and I looked up homes. I told her exactly what I want. I wanted 3 beds, 2 bath. I wanted a basement for laundry, and I wanted my bathroom and my bedrooms upstairs, and I wanted the living room and dining room. Right. Actually, that's what I have in my house. So she got the correct house. I mean, everything that I wanted the way I wanted it. So, um, we did. We had another class at the Section 8. Um, and this class was um, like keeping how to keep your home. Like once you buy the home, how to not to let it go into foreclosure and things like that. That's what this other class was at the Section 8 place. So all of that was taken care of. Once I got the realtor, we searched for homes. We searched for homes for a long time. And so with my what do they call the Section 8? Like your you know how you have like a casework at the public aid office? I forget what they was called at Section 8. I forget what they was called, but anyway, my person, we're gonna call her a counselor, okay? Or we're just gonna say counselor because I don't remember what they call. But so she told me, she say, so make sure that you put your money into the savings account because we're gonna need to see your bank statements. They want to make sure that there was money in my checking account. I had to um, she told me if I ate out a lot or if I was spending money like unnecessarily, you know how people, or you might take a trip or um just spend money foolishly, right? She told me that, she said, don't do that. Every penny that you can save, you save it. So I stopped eating out. I mean, I wasn't really eating out that much, but I stopped eating out. Um, and she said, when you get your taxes, don't spend your tax money. Okay, so when I filed taxes, I think I was in my house, in my apartment. Let me see, because I had moved. Let me see, the first apartment that I was in, I lived there for 4 years, and then I ended up moving, and I stayed there for 2 years. So, um, I found out about it like 5 or 6 years after I had got my Section 8. So, but anyway, yeah, so she said, don't spend your tax money when you get your taxes right. Now, at this time, my daughter was turning 18. She was getting ready to graduate from high school. And I wanted to take her on a trip for high school graduation. So I got my taxes. Me, her boyfriend, my mom, and my little male friend, we went to Disney World, or Disneyland, whichever one that is in Florida. We went there for her 18th, for her high school graduation. And um, now at this time, I had been searching for homes for months, and I didn't find anything that I liked. So when I got back from Florida, imagine I spent my tax money now. Got back from Florida. The realtor, I got back in contact with the realtor. 3 months. And I was trying to get the money back. Like, I was saving every dime I could. And she was like, I told you not to spend your money with us. But I had to take my daughter. It was my daughter's graduation. So anyway, I ended up spending the money. And at this time, I met my husband. Of course, it wasn't my husband at the time. And I told him what I was doing. I'm getting ready to purchase a house. Either you're in or you're out. And so he said he was in, and he actually helped me get the money back up to buy the house with. But come to find out, all the money that she told me I needed, I didn't need. Only thing that I needed was earnest money, and the earnest money was only $1,000. I had to get a cashier check from the bank for $1,000. That was the earnest money. And if you've ever bought a home, you know what the earnest money is. If not, the earnest money is promissory money saying that you're going to get this house. Okay. And so he helped me get the money, and like I said, I only needed $1,000. The housing authority, Section 8, they actually paid for the closing costs. Only thing I paid for was the earnest money, the inspection, and the appraiser. Yeah, the appraiser. That's all I paid for. I think my inspection was like $350. I want to say it's like $350. My appraiser was like $200, $300, something like that. And then I had to have $1,000 for the earnest money. So I ended up finding a house. And what Section 8 does, when you get the house that you want, like I say, you still go everything. If you've ever purchased a home, everything that you go through purchasing a home by yourself, whatever, and with Section 8, it's the same thing, okay? Only thing is, Section 8 is helping out like 85%, 90%, okay? So they pay for the closing. Section 8, when it was time to do the closing, I think my closing was delayed like 3 times. I want to say it was delayed like 3 times. Not delayed, but rescheduled like 3 times. So Yeah, I want to say it was like 3 times. And so when I finally got the closing date, and we finally got it, it was in October. So I finally closed on my house October 9th is when I closed on my house. So the day I closed, the day I moved in. So so at the closing, you get a bunch of paperwork. Oh, let me go back. So when you do the inspection, the inspector give you a list of things that needs to be done. You can take that back to the seller and say, hey, this need to be done, this need to be done, this need to be done. And, either you fix it or you take some off. You take some money off the cost of the home. So they didn't, it wasn't a lot. The roof was in good shape, but when I thought, like after I moved in, I did see some stuff, but it was kind of too late then. So during the closing, we got a home warranty for 1 year. So which means that anything break down in the home, it can be repaired for free. We got, let's say they paid the closing costs. I had to sign a lot of paperwork. So my husband even though he helped me with the money, he's not on the deed. Okay, so because I was still on Section 8. Technically, I'm still on Section 8, right? So with Section 8, they help you pay your mortgage for 15 years. So my mortgage, I had a fixed mortgage, which was like $764. And my portion of the mortgage was like 300 and something. And Section 8 paid the rest. The rest, $400, $500, whatever it is they had to pay. But my portion was on like $300 and some dollars. Okay. And so every year with Section 8, even to this day, I think it's every 2 years with the regular Section 8, but with me, when I was doing the home thing, I had to recertify every year. So I had to take in my check stubs and all of that stuff. By that time, it was me, my daughter, my mother, and my now husband. Of course, it wasn't my husband then, but so they didn't come out and do an inspection like they do now with the apartments. They don't do your home like that. This is your home. Whatever needs to be repaired, you're responsible for repairing it. So I never put him on the deed. None of that. Till this day, he's still not on it. But yeah, so they paid the mortgage for 15 years. So every year when I recertify, I may have to pay a little bit more, or they may have to pay a little bit more. It kind of depends on what my income was looking like. And 9 times out of 10, I was paying a little bit more because I was getting like a raise every year. So not much of a raise, but so it was only like a couple of dollars more. And so another thing too, if you never bought a home, or if you're thinking about buying a home, get a fixed rate. Do not get no arm, do not get no balloon. That means if you get an arm or a balloon, that means today your mortgage should be $500. Next month your mortgage should be $1,200. Make sure that you always get a fixed rate. And I'm gonna tell you something that nobody ever told me. I had to find this out the hard way. The mortgage company didn't even tell me this. So when every year you get a mortgage analysis. Now my taxes and my homeowner's insurance is escrowed into my mortgage, which means when I pay my mortgage, some of that goes to the principal, some of that goes to the interest, some of that goes to the taxes, and some of that goes to the homeowner's insurance, right? So what they don't tell you is when you have your mortgage analysis every year, your mortgage can go up. Even if you have a fixed rate mortgage, your mortgage can go up. And I'm going to tell you how. depending on the area that you live in, depending on what's happening in your neighborhood or the area, your taxes may go up, your homeowner's insurance may go up. If you do not have enough money in your escrow account to cover that, the bank is going to pay it. It was not a problem. The bank is going to pay it, but your mortgage is going to go up to cover the cost of what the bank had to put in for your taxes and your insurance. Okay. And so, like I said, my mortgage was like $764. And so I got a letter one time saying my mortgage was going up to, I want to say $900 or $1,000 or something like that. And I was like, hold on, because I didn't know. So I called the bank to find out, why is this happening? I don't know what's going on. Why is this happening? And so that's when she explained to me. She said, because you have your taxes and your insurance escrowed into your mortgage, and there wasn't enough money to cover because my taxes and my insurance had went up. And so there wasn't enough money. They wasn't taking out enough money when I paid the mortgage to put into the account. They only had to put, because they got to divide into four things, right? So the bank had to pay whatever the amount was, and so basically I was paying the bank back. So if you can, make sure that if you can go to the bank and tell them, hey, put this much money in, into my escrow account, you're able to do that. Okay, just a FYI. Like I said, I had to learn. Nobody told me that. The mortgage company, when I did my paperwork, nobody told me this. And another thing that happened, and that I'm pretty sure that was not supposed to happen, but I'm brand new at this. I didn't know who to talk to or what have you, right? So when I purchased the house, like I said, I got the house in October. I did my closing October 9th. I got a letter about a month later, 6 weeks later, something like that, and it was the property tax bill. By me buying the house, when I bought it, the new tax bill came out, and I had to pay that, and I thought that wasn't right. But like I said, I didn't know. I didn't have nobody to talk to. Till this day, I still don't know if that's right. But I had to pay it. So yeah. So they paid my mortgage for 15 years. I've been in the house since 2004. They paid my mortgage 15 years until 2019. After I want to say October or November 2019, that was the last mortgage payment that they paid. And so after that, I was no longer on Section 8. So all the 15 years that they helped me with the mortgage, technically, I was still on Section 8, right? But once they was no longer paying my mortgage as of November 2019, 2019. I want to say 2015, 2004 to 2019, 15 years, right? Okay. So after November of 2019, I'm no longer on Section 8 because they're no longer paying my mortgage. I'm done with them. I still have 10 years on my mortgage, and I'm trying to figure out how I can get extra money to put towards my principal, so I don't have to, it won't be another 10 years, but I'm figuring that out now. So, but, yeah, so that's how I purchased my home on my Section 8 voucher. So, like I said, again, I don't know about other states, but here in Illinois, I'm in Chicago. we have a program called Choose to Own. So if you're in Chicago and you thinking about buying a house, um like I said, it's been 20 years now, so and I'm pretty sure a lot of the qualifications have changed. So if you thinking about doing that, look into it. Okay. Like I said, Section 8 public aid is meant to be a stepping stone, not a way of life, not a forever thing. So, yeah, as I don't know about other states, they probably may have something similar, but I don't know. But here in Illinois, in Chicago, we have that program, and if you're looking into it, it's a good program. Okay, so but anyway, thanks guys for tuning in. Leave me a comment down below. Um, if you have any questions, maybe I can try to answer them. Um, if you're on a Choose Own program, do you like it? How was it for you? What were your qualifications? How long you been on it? Yeah, leave me a comment down below, okay? And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.